I used to love to say that when at my radio station. We are doing business planning success for 2025. This is part 2. If you missed the lecture last week we talked about making the business plan, the importance of it, how to do it. Today, we're going to start actually doing it. So depending on how you're watching, I have put the breakout materials in our Zoom chat. I've emailed them to the participants here, and anyone on YouTube, you can email me at bill@rogbeyond.com. Even if you're watching this on a replay, feel free to, and I would be happy to send you the business planning tools that are a part of this. So so I'm going to share a screen with you here. If I haven't already, I have not. And what I want to start with, guys, I want you to open the Excel file that I sent you. It looks like this. For you guys that have been with me a while, Renuka, when you were with me at the previous brokerage, I used to make you have to do all the math. And I sat here and said, why am I making these guys do math? You had to do math to pass your exam. Nobody loved the 7 or 8 math questions. So I was sitting here a couple months ago and I said, all right, I've been talking about this for years. I'm finally going to do it. And I put this in a spreadsheet with formulas. So now you don't have to do anything except fill out the 3 things in red. Do you have it, Mackenzie, open? Okay, everybody has it open. Okay. Now you just did this. Mackenzie's here. She just did this because she, I believe, was the first realtor. You were first or second to experience not having to do all this crazy math and put numbers in and whatever. So let's go through this. The first is B2. How much money do you want to make in 2025? Do you want to make $50,000, let's say? You want to make $100,000? Now, my advice to new agents is you should be looking to make $100,000 in your first full year in real estate. It's a very achievable goal if you're doing this full time. Now, for some of you that may not be doing this full time, you might be doing this part time, and there's nothing wrong with that. You may want to put less in. So, for example, if I decided I wanted to do real estate this year, I'm just going to do myself as a model. I would say for me, if I did $50,000, it probably would be something that I'm probably still too much for what I do as a broker, working 50, 60 hours a week as a broker. And I don't ever want to cut into that. That's why I'm a non-competing broker. You guys don't see me out there competing with you. If I have a listing or if I have a buyer, it's because they're a friend of mine or they just fell in my lap. Next, average sales price in your market. If you did this with me last year, it was about 434, 435. I think it was 434 was the exact number. Our price points have dropped a little bit just with what's happened with the economy. So in the Tampa Bay market, if you're going to go broad, put your second number in at 425. Now, what I would tell you about this number, I always tell people to lowball this number and to be realistic. So I'm going to do 2 things. Number one, lowball this number. Because if you say, well, that's it, that's the average, that's what I'm going to do, you need to be selling average price houses. If all of a sudden you got on a run and your goal is to sell, 10 houses and you sell 10 houses and your average sales 300 or 325, you're not going to reach your financial goal. What if you specialize? Okay, let's say you become a specialty person in a neighborhood, in a particular neighborhood, or you become a specialty person you sell condos or townhomes. Those price points might be lower. So right now I have a friend's townhome that I have listed. He's listed at 385, well below the 425. And quite frankly, probably right now, because the market's dropped, the townhome's only worth 350. And this is a beautiful townhome. What if it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo? It's going to be a lot less. So know your audience of who you think you're going to get. Now, some of this is guesswork. You might start making calls and somehow somebody that gives you a $5 million listing falls in your lap. hey, that's the third thing I want to bring up. That's good news. If your average sales, if you do this at 425 and your average sales turn out to be 500, guess what? All things being equal, you're going to make more money, right? So I always say lowball on, don't lowball on your income. Make that income but we want that to be a solid, what we used to call a rock. I worked for a company and we had rocks. Rocks were things that you had to accomplish and you always put a time on them, whatever. That's your rock. I need to get to 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, whatever that number is. Sale price in your market. The other way to do this is where you're going to start calling and farming. If you're going to start farming your neighborhood and the average price of your neighborhood is $450,000, I would definitely put 425. If you're going to farm, like for me, I have that little farm that I do over on River Ridge I use for training. Those houses only sell for about 350, right? So I would change my number probably to more something like that. And you'll see it's going to change my numbers below. The third number, which is the only third one we have to deal with, what is the average commission percentage that you're going to make? In the beginning, when I started doing this, everybody put 3. Well, we live in a world where 3 is a nice ideal. Trust me, if I'm getting a listing, that number is going to be 3 or 3.5. But especially with everything that's happened, we have no idea what buyers are going to give. Now, we've taken more control of that the way we've taught you how to write buyer's agreements, where we ask for 3. So we've taken a little bit more control of that. Of course, we'll see how that all plays out. But I would put to average 2.5, and that's why I have that in there. So I'm going to give you guys a second. Just let me know, just raise your hand or let me know when you're done, when you have those 3 numbers where you're comfortable with, and then we will move forward. All right. Everybody's good? Everybody's good. So we'll go down to my example, which I don't have up in front of you, and I apologize. Let me do that for you. Like I said, I did this. This is just, it doesn't matter what these numbers are on the example. Am I on the TV tonight? Yes, I am. Okay. What matters is what your numbers are, but these are the things I want you to look at because these are the important numbers. Excuse me. So I put an income goal of 50, put average sale of 350, 2.5% on commission. That means the average commission income per side is $8,750. That's how much money I would bring in at 2.5% on a $350,000 sale, the gross number. We don't have commission splits because we're a 100% company here at Realty One Group. So my next number is a little bit skewed because that would be your total fees based on over 400,000. And I'm not based on that, but I'm not going to change it. I would tell you guys, it's so minimal how it shifts. So what would I take home? $7,650. With that in mind, I need to do 6.54 technically, 6.5 transactions a year. Now, how do you do a half a transaction? Well, you actually can do a half a transaction because you could do a split with somebody, right? Where you partner with somebody. But for me, I'm going to say to myself that I want to do 7 transactions. So the average number of appointments needed to result in 1 closed transaction is about 3. So you're going to go meet with 3 people to get 1 that's actually going to close. That's the nature of the beast. In order to get that number, to get to there, I need about 20 appointments per year. Again, I hope you guys are looking at your own numbers and, hope they're not the same as mine because you should be doing way better than this. I'm going to work 48 weeks a year. That gives you 4 weeks where you can take off from doing your prospecting. Whether you go on vacation, you don't have to, but it gives you 4 weeks where you're not doing your prospecting. So what does that mean for appointments? It means I need to make an appointment every 2 to 3 weeks, right? 0.4 appointments every 2 to 3 weeks. So 1 week, every 2 weeks, I should make an appointment. Another week, in 3 weeks. So every 5 weeks, basically, let's just say I should have 2 appointments. That's probably the easiest way to say it. So so pretty much every 5 weeks that goes by, I should have 2 appointments mixed in there. I need to talk to 30 prospects in order to get 1 appointment, right? We know that. So I need to call somebody like a for sale by owner, like a expired listings, sphere of influence. But mostly I want to be calling people that I know are looking to buy or sell now, right? Which again, sphere of influence is good to call, but make sure you mix in people that you know are ready to buy or sell now, which are what? Expired listings, for sale by owners. Just listed, just sold calls can count in there, okay? All good ways to do that. So for me to make this goal, I would need to speak to 2 contacts a day, 5 days a week. So again, not a heavy lift to make $50,000. What are your numbers, Mackenzie? They're probably higher, right?
Yeah.
How many do you talk to a day? 4, which is the same as we did last time, right? Yeah, right. Okay. So my double play is here saying I would need to talk to 12.25 contacts a week. So it's a little bit higher. This number is rounded, I believe, or it's close to rounded. So anyway, I want to get 5, maybe, I want to get 2, maybe 2 days. I want to get 2 extra. So 2 to 3 people a day is where I want to be talking to. And I need to get an appointment, 2 appointments every 5 weeks. Any questions on this, guys? Has everybody got this? So this is your rock. This is what you have to do every day, 5 days a week, is number 16, B16. Sounds like a bingo game, right? B16, bingo. 2 people a day, 4 people a day. Whatever your number is, if you do this day in, day out, 5 days a week, at the end of the year, if these, you're going to be right around that income goal, if not above. That's why I say go lower with the sales price, pop that number up a little bit, and it gives you, hey, you know what? I said I want to make 100,000. I made 115,000 because I was at that 425. Great. So this is as simple as it is, guys. And it's not that heavy of a lift. It's a matter of consistency. This morning I did a live video. If you guys aren't friends with me on Facebook, and Reganuka, I think I sent you a friend request. You don't have to friend me, of course, but one place I would tell you to go, 2 places I would tell you to go. I have 2 groups. Number 1 is our Realty One group beyond Realtors group. Make sure you join that. The other one is I have one that's called Gulf Coast Realtors Coaching. Hold on, let me look it up. So I know there's people watching online that also Gulf Coast Realtor Mastermind dash Realtor Coaching Guru Bill Zeltman. Join both of those groups. And the reason I tell you to join both of those groups is that's the other place where you'll see me, where my live videos will post. My training videos that I put up pretty much 5 days a week will post. And those things are good for you to watch every day. They're only a minute or 2. I ramble along on the live ones, just because I'm driving and have nothing else to do. I got an hour drive here, 45 minutes to an hour drive here. But today I say all that to say this. I talked about consistency, right? Could I easily just be like, dude, 2 contacts a day? Why don't I just get in touch with 10 and do 1 crazy day, right? I can. How easy is it to skip after you haven't done it for a week and to get out of the habit and get out of the routine? It just is. We all know the hardest thing that you guys have, being a realtor is like a dream job. Where else can you make $100,000, or more, or 500 or $1 million? You can make as much money as you want. The bad part of this job, what stinks about this job, is calling people all the time. And especially in the beginning, calling people you don't know. When you build your sphere of influence bigger and bigger and bigger, that's less and less and less people you don't know that you have to call, right? But you got to call everybody. It is what it is. So I always say 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's 15 hours. I don't think it's going to take me it would take me 3 hours a day to get to 2. I'm not sure it'll take you 3 hours a day to get to 4, right? But if you bank 3 hours away and you get it done in 2.5, or 2, there is, first of all, no law that you can't keep going for those 3 hours and do it and get more, right? Is there a law against you making more than $100,000 next year? Obviously not. But the fact that if you get in that routine every day, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do, it makes it easier. Let me give you an example of this. On Thursdays, that is my main day to call other realtors. And there's always that little, like, as many years I've been doing it, that little angst, like, oh, I got to get into this, because I haven't done it since the Friday before. Because Friday afternoons, I call the new agents. That's why you got all my calls. You're probably still getting calls from me. Friday afternoons, I pick up the phone and I actually make a live call to everybody that passed the state exam. So Thursday, I get into it. Friday, when I go to start doing that, I'm ready to roll. But after 6 days off, it's back to square one of, okay, get myself motivated. And I did every Thursday morning, go through that same routine. Whereas probably, and again, this doesn't work for me. So I'm making excuses, guys. So you can hold this against me. It doesn't work for me because I got to be here doing this stuff with you guys. What the most important part of my job is making you guys successful, right? The second most important part of my job is making sure I have people sitting around this table and online and wherever to take these trainings, which means I always have to be recruiting, right? People graduate from this. I want to keep that ball rolling. So that's why for me, I can't really just say I'm going to make calls every day because I have to spend this time doing this curriculum writing or whatever. And I take one day. That's why we don't do trainings on Thursdays, and just bang it out. So that's my excuse for it. But it would be probably a lot easier for me if I just said, you know what, I'm going to just take an hour each day or 2 hours each day and make those calls. All right, so we're good here. We have our numbers. And this is the next thing I'm going to stop the share a second, and I'm going to figure out which one you're going to open next. Let me see. Okay, so what I want to talk about next, I would like you to open the 2 files. One says GSO. Wait a second. I'm sorry. I screwed that up. Give me 1 second. That's it. Let me show you this real quick first. And again, for anybody that's been with me for any amount of time, you have seen this over and over and over, but it's important to look at again. So this particular file is BPS 101 Activity 6. And this is what a successful realtor's day looks like. Now, I wrote this when I first got into this business. Nothing has changed other than one thing in my philosophy. I believe that you can make $100,000 a year in this job and most weeks not work more than about 30 hours a week. Honestly, there are things that are going to make you work more hours. These are good things. I have a listing appointment tonight. I have a buyer's appointment tonight. I have a listing, and now I'm going to do an open house over the weekend. But in general, this is, so you'll see that this schedule goes from 8:30 in the morning until about 6 at night. Your days aren't necessarily all going to be full of this. Here is the most important part. And you'll also see something else. Let me say this first too. I have you here 7 days a week on some of this, right? You're promoting listings and other things on social media. You can do that all in one day by using a scheduler, right? Like all my content's scheduled. I usually spend Tuesday afternoons, Wednesdays I create it too. The next Tuesdays, usually I schedule it for the following week. I would suggest the same thing. So you'll see this on the calendar every day because yes, I want it going out for everybody to see, but you don't have to do that every day. You can just do it once a week or once or actually, if you use the Meta one, you can do it every 28 or 29 days. If you use Publer or another one like I use, you can do it months ahead, although you might get a listing. You want to get, those types of things. So what's the next thing on your day? You're going to do Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, do those. Then what I want you to do, and if you don't have somebody, let's get you teamed up, do script mastery every day. You don't have to do it on Tuesdays because you do it with me, except for tomorrow, because tomorrow, remember, guys, is election day, so we're not going to have any classes. But practice with somebody. Hey, you know what? I'm getting ready to call expired listings. Can we just run through that real quick? Hey, you know what? I'm going to work on orphans today. I'm going to work on, my head just went blank. I'm going to, for sale by owners, whatever. Practice it. Get yourself warmed up. It's just like getting ready to exercise. 10, 15 minutes of working, of a workout, and you're, warm up and you're ready to work out, right? Same thing here. So what's the first thing you do? You'll notice this is on here. I have this on Saturday too. It's up to you whether you want to jump in on Saturdays and do this or not. Call expired listings. You get the expired listings from the multiple listing service. You pull them out. You need to use some type of a tool to get their phone numbers or show up at their house. Remine is in the MLS, although I've been told they're going to start charging. I am actually thinking about getting expired listings using a service. We had a service before when I was at another brokerage. All our agents had. Thinking about getting that service. I'm thinking about going with Mojo Dialer. You guys ever want to look into Mojo Dialer? Because Mojo Dialer will actually give you the numbers. They'll pop them right up there for you. You hit a button and it calls through them, and it just live connects you when somebody picks up the phone. So something to look at. If anybody's interested in that, we can talk about that separately from here. There are other programs out there that do the similar things. And I would price them out and see what they really have to offer. Cole's Realty Resources, the best one for probably getting the information. That's what I've always used in the past. That's about $99 a month for a realtor, but it does not have an auto dialer on it. So you would have to go in, take the expired address, put it in, and it would pop up the person's information. You could do neighborhoods on there and things like that. This particular one will do that for you automatically. So up to you. So first thing you do every day is call your expired listings. Even if you're not a morning caller, this first half hour of your day, I would call expired listings. Like if you're coming in here for a training, first thing you do, if you get here a little bit early, call those expired listings, because everybody calls them as soon as they come out. Everything else you can do at any other time of the day, but here you go, call some for sale by owners. Nice to meet you follow-up calls. I was out yesterday and met somebody at a networking event, got their information, call them and say, hey, it was really good talking with you today. Just wanted to call and say how nice it was to meet you yesterday, I should say. And is there anything I can do to help you? You told me about your little whatever business, your little Amway business. Anything I can do to help you with that? In the future, just let me know. I'd love to promote it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's great talking to you again. Yeah, and just keep in mind, if you know anybody, if you or anybody you know is looking to buy or sell, I'd appreciate if you got them in touch with me. Done. And put them on every 3 months, just keep in touch with them. That's a nice to meet you follow-up call. People go to networking events, it's all about them, right? We've talked about this before. We want it to be not to be about them, be about the person that you're talking to. And calling them the next day will cement a relationship. Just sold calls. Call around new houses that were just listed or just sold. Call 5 sphere of influence contacts or whatever number you want to do. Call a high turnover area. See, these are different as the days go across, because they're not ones that necessarily you're going to be doing every day. This just gets you extra people to call. High turnover area, free market analysis, for rent by owners. Again, back to high call turnover area, for rent by owners. There's always for rent by owners, especially when you're coastal like we are here. Another one, call orphans, call builders. These are ideas, guys. Community outreach. Call and offer free market analysis. And again, call builders. Once you've done that, okay, take a little break, right? You've done the heavy, if you do it in this order, you've done the heavy lift of your day by noon. Now, between 1 and 3, this is where you get all that admin stuff done. Returning emails, contract to close, scheduling things, calling with your clients to talk about things, because you don't let your clients call you between 9 and noon. That's sacred time. Nobody should be able to call you. Your husband, your wife, your whoever, kids, tell them that time's blocked out. And again, whatever time you choose to do this, you can do this 4 to 7 in the afternoon, 3 to 6, 2 to 5, whatever works for you, do that. 1 to 3, though, limit the time that you do this. Now, what do you do at 3 o'clock? Well, 3 on should be you going to an appointment, right? If you have an appointment. Go back to my original thing. I only need to have 2 appointments every 5 weeks. So that means how many days am I not going to be at an appointment, right? 5 times 5 is 25. That means 23 days. If you take the 2 days I'm at appointments, I'm not at an appointment. So what can I do in that time? I go golf, go to the beach. But really, what's the number one thing is if you don't have an appointment, go make an appointment. Get back on the phone. Now, you don't have to be as strict on yourself because you've done your 3 hours, but get a little more time in. Maybe go do some community outreach. Go walk around an area that has privately owned businesses where you can get to know the owners and create a relationship with them. Putting business cards out. Again, call back expired listings that maybe you didn't get. Maybe you will have expired listings that didn't answer the phone first time around. Call them back. Hey, sorry I missed you this morning. I was just trying you again. I saw why your house didn't sell. I reviewed your listing. I see why your house didn't sell. Call me back. I'd love to review it with you. Again, any other missed prospects? And then here's the appointments. But the appointments really, if you have an appointment that day, focus on the appointment because you want to make sure you have all your comps together and all your other things that you're ready for that. So this is what, as we're getting ready to put your goal and your plan together, this is what we want your day to look like. And I gave you guys a activity sheet that actually allows you can make a calendar one like this, but I gave you another one. Here it is. This is BPS 101 Activity 3. These are always available in our office. It's all of those things of calling the people. And it reminds you, if you use this sheet every day, make a new sheet every day, you'll see at the very top, today's date. What's my contact goal? I need to speak to, right? 2. I'm doing minimum 3 hours of prospecting today. Okay, expired listings. It has my 7 and 7 plan that I've taught you guys. I had it 7 touches in 7 days. By the way, this is old. It says DVD or magazine. You actually are going to have a QR code that's going to take you to a link to your business video card or to your town video or to your proprietary marketing strategy video is what it really should have. If you do not have a proprietary marketing strategy video, get here for Digital Mastery any Wednesday and video creation. We will get you one. Or get in touch with me separately. We will get you one. They are a powerful, powerful video. If you haven't seen it, you need to. For sale by owner, same thing. Pre-foreclosures, sphere of influence. So this allows you to use this as a day sheet. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself because we really haven't set your goals yet, but I just want to show you some of the tools that we're giving you to use day in and day out, day in and day out. Okay, so let's get to tools. Somewhere here. Okay, I don't know why that keeps doing that. Oh, they were expired things. I'm sorry. I have some of this stuff out from the other day. Okay, that's. I am missing one. Just hang on 1 second. This is the goal setting activity, unless it's no. Activity 2.2. I don't know why activity. So I want you to open up GSO 103, activity 2 and activity 2.2. They're the two that are going to get you what I'm trying to find on my ridiculous, crazy, too much open computer. Here it is. Okay. So as we're getting to write goals, and we went through this in the training last week, so I'm not going to go through it again other than a quick review. We always want to do what's called SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, real results focused, and time bound, right? Meaning it will happen in a certain amount of time. So the bottom of this is I want you to think about what you want to accomplish this year, right? We have a number. You want to make $100,000, but how are you going to get there? I want you to be specific. How are you going to measure it? You also want to be very careful that you measure in short term. In other words, what I mean by that is, am I on track every week? Am I on track every month? How did my month go? That's why we have Friday calls, guys. And we're going to have you guys talk and bring some of these sheets with you on Fridays so we can talk. How did it go this week? You had to talk to 4 people this week. How did it go? Where did you go? What went right? What went wrong? How many appointments did you get from it? In my case, am I getting 2 appointments every 5 weeks? I want your goal to be achievable. Means you can do it. You want to stretch, but you can do it. Results focused. Don't, what's the result? The end result is I want to make $100,000 this year, $50,000, whatever that number is. And time bound this year needs to be done by. But I break it down in smaller parts. I don't want to be sitting here in November saying, well, I could still make $50,000 this year. Just have to really ramp it up. No, I want to be on track. Let's say my number was 60,000. Let's make it easy. At the end of January, did I make $5,000? At the end of February, did I make $10,000? At the end of March, am I at $15,000? Am I on track or am I off track? And I can do what I need to do to always revise and get there. So that's the SMART goals. So let's go back to the other part of this. What I want you guys to do now, is put together. I'm trying to see if I have the series. You see me flipping through stuff. If you grab GSO 103, again, this is 2.2. I want you to start thinking about which activities you want to do. And this is not a thorough list, guys. There's so much more that you can do here. But I want you to start planning, and that's what I'm looking for. And I don't have those open. So just give me a moment. I'm going to get these open for you. And we're going to move to a new form. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay, it's the GSO 103 goal setting activity. That's not the right one. This is for you to plan each day. I'm glad you found that. But yes, I'm really sorry here. I had all this stuff all opened up and lined up and ready to go, and I have totally screwed it here. So I'm going to find it for you. That's why I'm in the wrong training. Some of these are good. Some of these are not what we want. Agent Mastermind. There it is. And I just realized why this is actually for next week. Okay. So for next week, and it will not be next week is President's Day or Veterans Day. So it'll be in 2 weeks. And I'm sorry, I apologize because I was getting ahead of myself. In 2 weeks, I will have the forms ready for you. We're going to use this form, the GSO 103, which is put your sample day together. And of course, again, use this and the other one I showed you every day. This kind of gives you the schedule. The other one lets you follow up. Okay, I spoke to John Smith, expired listing. I spoke to this FISBO, this, that, and keeps you on track that you make sure you're talking to the variety of people you need to get to the right appointments. Next week, we're going to have the business plan out where we're going to actually each month say, what are my marketing plans and prospecting plans, that are going to jive with this. See, so what we did today was we talked about your sweat equity, right? You're going to call these people, you're going to have your day set up, you're going to call these people, you're going to this, that, and whatever. What we're going to do next week in your business planning is put your marketing plan together. We're going to talk about what your digital strategy is, your content management. How are you feeding content to your social media? How are you building your social media so you have more and more and more followers, right? Search engine optimization. We'll talk a bit about that. But what about traditional stuff too? What about setting things up like having a neighborhood yard sale or a barbecue or a wine tasting or whatever thing you can think of? What about reinforcing that message? Maybe you decide I'm going to start doing postcards next year, or maybe you're going to do door knockers or something that you're going to go out into the community. And I say the community, you're going to go into your farming area, right? Number one. And number two, you're going to go maybe into the community. So next week, we're going to write out all those things. We're going to put which months you're going to do what. Now, some things are going to be reoccurring, right? I always say to you on Wednesday afternoons, make it Community Outreach Wednesday. You don't have to do it on Wednesday. I just always throw Wednesday out there. Throw it out there, go out and hit meeting new businesses every couple of weeks. And then, of course, once you get a group of them, get to them every couple months and build those relationships. Those are things that are reoccurring. Things like you might do a neighborhood yard sale. You might only do that once a year. You might do it twice a year. I did it twice a year very successfully. A summer barbecue. Well, guess what? That's only in the summer. And guess what? In Florida, my advice on a summer barbecue would be to do it in May or September, October when it's a little bit cooler. I mean, up north when we did these, July was, the best time for it. It's not necessarily in Florida because of the heat. So, any questions on today? And just remember, you're on mute. If you want to come off mute, you can. Okay, so guys, in 2 weeks, we're going to finish up our goal planning by actually writing your business plan. We're going to write your business plan. So join us 2 weeks. We will be here in office, on our office on Countryside Boulevard in Clearwater for anybody that wants to come in. We will be live on Zoom as we always are, and we will be here on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe at America's Gurus. You can follow me on all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X, TikTok. Did I say TikTok? I think I already said that. Snapchat, whatever. Find me at America's Gurus. That's Gurus with an S in the end. And I'm there.